Yeah, I think Mr. Carney is the new hope, right? The possibility for what might happen in Canada. Certainly he comes with an established track record. Leader of the Bank of Canada, leader of the Bank of England, has led, in really tough economic times. So yeah, he has a track record.
It remains to be seen. I mean, it's hard to draw any conclusions based on what we've seen so far. I think he's promising. I think it was time for a change and new blood at in the Liberal leadership, and so, hopefully, with his background in economics, he can steer us through this tumultuous time.
He's well spoken, and he's ready to put Canada first, I think, and help out Canadians financially as well, and take on the United States. He's not afraid to speak up and challenge, I think, Donald Trump and his tariffs.
It's, this is a person who has an international reputation as an economist. He's had a stellar career as the governor of two banks, Bank of Canada, Bank of England. He has, excellent reputation, I think, and so the ability to attract him as the leader of the Liberal Party is huge for the party. I think it allows them to kind of get some more wind in their sails. They were a pretty deflated party, I think, when they were so down in the polls. 86% of the vote is phenomenal, right? And it shows a united party. So I think that they have to be very elated by this. You didn't have to go to any runoff ballots or anything like that. It's really huge that he was able to get, almost 9 out of 10 of people who voted for the leadership to get them behind him. Carney is going to focus on economic policy. It's clear that's his expertise. That it is really the central preoccupation of Canadians now is the cost of living, and of course this is going to get even more acute an issue if the tariffs come on. The tariffs that Donald Trump is threatening, if they're imposed upon Canada, then obviously we're in the prospect. People say depending on how long this goes on, we face the real prospect of a recession. Carney will present himself as somebody who has dealt with crises. This is clearly a crisis for Canada. All Canadians understand that. So he will present himself as, I think, a kind of a calm person who can deal with a complex issue. He has an international stature, which Trump may respect. It's hard to know. So I think that those are that's the kind of character that he'll bring to this. His acceptance speech yesterday, he made it very clear that he will not, deter from the existing Trudeau line, which is that, we're going to fight back, that we have to fight back with these counter tariffs. The challenges are pretty obvious. One is that, the most obvious is that he is not a politician, right? He has never run for office. He's never held office. He has been a public servant, if you will, right? He'll be up against, three leaders really, Poilievre for the Conservatives and the NDP leader Singh and the Bloc Québécois leader as well, who are seasoned politicians. They've been in office, they've fought campaigns, they've won campaigns. So that's, it's going to be a real test of his ability to campaign. The other thing, of course, is that he is a Liberal. This is the Liberal Party. And Canadians are looking for change, particularly in Western Canada, Alberta and Saskatchewan. They've been, they're run by Conservative governments provincially, and they want to change in Ottawa. He's a Liberal, but he'll have to demonstrate or present himself as a different kind of Liberal, and as well as a Liberal who can seize this moment of change for Canada when everybody does want strong leadership and calm leadership, I think, in Ottawa, and that he's got the credentials to do that. This moment, Canadians really want competence. They really want somebody who can stand up and, be respectful, argue the case for Canada, and keep the country united. This is always a big challenge in Canada, is to keep the country united. Now, his advantage is that he actually he doesn't come from central Canada. Typically the Liberal Party will choose their leadership from central Canada, but he comes from Alberta, right? He comes from the west. So he's got that advantage as well, and a kind of building a strategy for where we go from here, right? So there's been quite a bit of talk about diversifying our trading partners. I think that's clear. There's been talk about trying to build an internal, to construct an internal pipeline that will take, oil and gas from Alberta and get it all across the country so that we don't have to import, Eastern Canada doesn't have to import oil and gas from the US. There's talk about getting rid of the internal trade barriers that make it difficult for people to invest in Canada,